Tyler Smith is my most devoted sidekick. He handles every trivial matter without complaint, almost unnervingly obedient. Over time, I began harboring some complicated urges toward this little shadow of mine. Ty's hair looked irresistibly fluffy. I wanted to bury my fingers in it. His lips appeared temptingly plump. I craved to nibble them. Later, fueled by alcohol, I pinned him onto the bed, hovering close as I teased. Thought you wanted combat lessons? Kiss me, and I'll teach you. Eric. Ty flushed crimson, whispering, if I master it, will you give me a reward? Eric. Before I could process his words, he flipped our positions with a textbook wrestling reversal. His lips grazed my ear as his palms slid lower. Voice husky, damn, that curve. Want to test it out? Arch up, legs apart. I perched sideways on the pool table's edge, one foot dangling, correcting the guy's grip. The raised wooden ridge dug into my thighs, my rolled-up shorts exposing skin that pressed uncomfortably against the surface. But the view? Spectacular. Ty's loose collar dipped as he leaned over his cue, revealing the hollow of his collarbone. Under the harsh overhead lights, his crystalline eyes burned hotter than the Arizona sun, fixed on where my thighs met the table's edge. Thought you begged me for pool lessons? I drawled. Watch the table. Not me. You think I'll let you sink your ball here? Eric. Ty's entire face ignited sunset red, gaze darting away like startled prey. Adorable. Infuriatingly tempting. I pushed off the table, crowding into his space. Your stance is wrong. Let me. My palm pressed between his shoulder blades, forcing his chest flush against the cue. Tighter. Feel that? My breath stirred the golden hairs near his ear. Why yet, Eric? While I admired his flustered expression, Ty's hand jerked forward. The cue slid through his grip, sending the ball rattling into the corner pocket. Did it? He turned with puppyish triumph, and his lips brushed my cheekbone. I froze. The culprit remained oblivious, beaming at his successful shot. The irony stung. I'd set the trap, yet somehow became the prey snared in his innocence. An unintentional gesture had stirred up something primal. Keep practicing. I need a smoke. I took a deep breath and walked away, unaware of the lingering gaze burning holes into my backer, the tongue swiping across lips behind me. The smoking lounge shared a wall with restrooms. I splashed water on my face before returning to the fogged window, cigarette already between my fingers. The spot where Tyler's lips had accidentally brushed against me earlier still burned like brandished iron, the heat spreading through my chest, swollen, honeyed, with an undercurrent of bitterness. Pressing a hand to my restless heart, I faced the truth. I'd genuinely fallen for Tyler Smith, that honor student who'd been glued to my side since freshman year, endlessly pestering me to teach him street fighting. Our story began during summer break after freshman year. Late shifts at the hot pot restaurant meant walking through sketchy alleys back to campus. That's where I found him, a lanky teenager cornered by thugs. Boss, this pretty boy's the one messing with your girl. One lackey spat. Those anonymous texts said she brought him cupcakes. Normally, I keep walking. Relationship drama? Not my circus. Especially not when carrying half a watermelon from work, crimson flesh glistening with juice, sweetness waiting to burst. Both hands occupied. Yet something made me pause under the alley's lone street lamp. The boy pressed against brickwork had blood trickling from his split lip, eyes wide and pleading like that stray cat I'd seen outside the hospital the day Mom left. The watermelon met pavement with a wet crunch as I smashed it over the red-haired ringleader's skull. Your girlfriend's cupcake delivery service harassing people now? Chaos erupted. Who the hell are you? The tattooed leader roared. Playing knight in shining armor for another dude? I looked down at him. Call it a height advantage. 186 centimeters. They limped away bruised and battered, pathetic amateurs against someone who'd thrown more punches in underground rings than they'd thrown tantrums. My rep as a university's reigning badass wasn't unearned. Kicking melon rinds aside, I approached the boy leaning against the wall. Sharp nose. Eyes deeper than midnight. Damn pretty. Hey gorgeous. I whistled. Got cash on you? Tyler blinked before flushing crimson, rummaging out a crumpled bill. Will this cover it? I don't carry much, but I can wire. Not even asking why. You saved me. Name your price. Confident? Aren't we? I stepped closer. What if I said $1 million? The boy hesitated, then nodded with an unexpectedly intense sincerity. Here. His dark tousled hair made him look disarmingly docile. Definitely better than that stray cat. I tried feeding it ham once and it bit my hand. Imagine a kitten pulling that bite the hand that feeds you crap. Just messing with you. Venmo me $20 for the watermelon. We'll settle the rest later. He paused like he might refuse, then chuckled softly. Okay. The dimple in his cheek deepened. Strange how that indentation seemed capable of spilling sweet liquor. Probably sweeter than the watermelon I never got to taste. Little did I know then, Tyler Smith was no kitten. The guy turned out to be a full-blown fox. Eric, why aren't you lighting up? The familiar mellow voice snapped me from my thoughts. Must have been lingering too long in the smoking room. Ty had tracked me down from the pool hall. Backlit by the murky lighting, his lean frame acquired an unfamiliar edge. The usually soft angles of his face sharpening into striking definition. Only the cheerful Eric remained unchanged from the kid who'd latched onto me after our watermelon incident. Turned out we were both State U freshmen, though he was a year younger. Finance department's golden boy. Snacks materialized before I could feel hungry. Notes appeared when I blinked. The campus's resident ice prince thawed alarmingly in my presence, citing debt repayment while badgering me for self-defense lessons. If I'd known how to block that punch, he'd argued, tracing the long faded bruise on his jawline, maybe I wouldn't have gotten you involved. I'd squinted at him then. Most State U kids avoid me like the plague. Heard the stories about me leaving high school fights bloodied. Doesn't faze you? Ty had simply furrowed his brows. Didn't that hurt? Something warm and fragile had bloomed in my chest. Against my better judgment, I let him carve space in my life, in my periphery vision during lectures. Beside me at the gym mats, teaching combat maneuvers bred proximity. The heat of his lower back under my palm. The salt-tinged glide of sweat between collarbones. Heartbeat sinking during grappling drills. Before I knew it, the lessons had become excuses. Now Ty emerged from the shadows. That momentary sharpness dissolving. Your lighter's dead. Use mine. I kept the unlit cigarette between my lips, covertly drinking in his features. The lighter's fine. It's your clueless ass I'm trying to ignite. Crooking a finger, I mumbled around the filter. Come light it. He leaned in obediently. The flame's orange tongue caught tobacco, casting amber light across his face. As the lighter snapped shut, I gripped his shoulder. Smoke swirled between us when I exhaled. My gaze dropped to his mouth, glistening and temptingly close. His lips were perfectly shaped with a slight upward curve. I'd mentally kissed them countless times, yet played it cool verbally. You don't even smoke. Why carry a lighter? Trying to pick up new bad habits? Ty's Adam's apple bobbed visibly, his voice roughening. My fault entirely. I'd been teasing too hard. The cigarette smoke must have irritated his throat earlier. Will you teach me then, Eric? He asked heavily. I chuckled, patting his cheek before pushing him away. Just kidding. Not teaching you this. It's no good anyway. Besides, his murmured response got lost in the humid air as he fell silent. The smoking room stood empty. Thick silence settled between us as I smoked and he waited, our gazes tangling like smoke tendrils in the dimness. A drawn-out, torturous standoff, like dragging blunt knife edges across vulnerable flesh. Not painful, but enough to make nerves tremble. For a fleeting moment, Ty's eyes darkened with something complex before he looked away first. I smirked, stubbing out my cigarette. For the first time, I felt grateful for inheriting Mom's porcelain complexion and striking features. That boxing ring asshole had sneered I should become a gigolo for easier money. But in romance games, who could resist good looks? My prey seemed ready to bite. Yet I overlooked one crucial thing. Much later, I'd learn, sometimes the real hunter appears as the hunted. The pool hall lay a decent distance from a university. By the time we returned to the dorms after dinner, darkness had fallen. Shower water pattered behind the bathroom door. Ty had been washing up unusually long tonight. Knocking on the steamy door, I called, "You okay in there?" Taking forever. Eric, almost done. His muffled voice sounded different through the door, less crystalline than usual, throaty with breathless edges. When he finally emerged, Ty's face glowed pink, eyes lowered shyly. His damp hair clung to flushed temples. "Your turn?" he mumbled, brushing past. Not questioning his odd behavior, I stripped off sweaty clothes. The bathroom window stood open. Lavender scent from Ty's new reed diffuser overpowering the steamless air. Fancy putting aromatherapy in a damn bathroom? I snorted, stepping under the spray. My foot slipped on the tiles. I lunged forward instinctively, legs splaying into a split stance as elbows slammed against the sink edge. Pain shot through the bone. Shit. The pain hit me out of nowhere, making me yelp. Eric, what's wrong? Tyler Smith burst through the door before I could finish speaking. There I was with one pant leg pulled around my ankle and the other tangled at my knees. Awkwardly bent over trying to keep my balance. Not my finest moment. I caught his reflection in the bathroom mirror. The usually composed teenager froze for 3 full seconds before springing into action. His hands trembled as he helped me upright. When I finally steadied myself, I noticed his bloodshot eyes looked even redder than when he'd stepped out of the shower earlier. Relax. It's just a bruise, I said, clapping Tyler's shoulder. I'm not even crying yet. His muscles tensed under my palm as he carefully maneuvered me to the bed like I was made of porcelain. The antiseptic cream felt cold against my hip. Tyler's fingers lingered longer than necessary, the featherlight strokes sending more shivers than the actual injury warranted. I finally swatted his hand away. Quit stalling and just patch me up already. His cheeks flushed that telltale pink again. I squinted at him. This kid really needed to get his circulation checked if he kept blushing over basic first aid. Wrap it up and hit the sack, I ordered, collapsing back on the mattress. The bathroom faucet roared to life. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. You taking another shower? I called through the steam. Overheated, came the muffled reply. Go to sleep, Eric. I glanced at the AC unit blinking 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Since when did San Francisco nights get this warm? My phone buzzed with morning notifications. Emily Davis, Eric, dinner tonight? My uncle told me about the Jack Wilson incident. I need to thank you properly. It took me a second to place the name. Last week's dorm drama came flooding back, catching our former roommate Jack Wilson scrolling through illicit photos in our quad. The fist fight that left him spitting blood on the linoleum. The silent campus police escort after they found his hidden camera stash. Principal Davis' niece had been among the victims. The messages kept coming. Eric Johnson, everyone says you were covered in blood dragging that scumbag that day, looking terrifying. But my uncle told me you warned him first not to spread rumors because it'd harm the girls. That you're nothing like the rumors. Bro, you're awake. That I got breakfast. Ty walked in holding my favorite pancake wrap. That I sat on the edge of the bed clutching my phone, instinctively swiping away from WeChat. The screen stayed lit, suspended. Message glaring at the top. So, can I take you to dinner? The room temperature plummeted. Ty saw the message but didn't comment, only mentioning he'd help shave me since my right hand was injured. Shaving foam bloomed around my jaw as I leaned against the bathroom counter, studying those striking features. Coldly elegant when neutral, yet sparkling like starlight when animated. The electric razor hummed in the quiet bathroom. Drunk on his proximity, I playfully leaned back. Ty sighed and closed the distance, warm palms suddenly tilting my chin up. His voice held rare authority. Don't move, bro, I'm not done yet. That I sheepishly complied, closing my eyes as methodical strokes traveled my jawline. His slow, deliberate motions felt like a hunter's tender entrapment. Morning light streamed in as I relaxed into the ritual, dismissing the odd thought that you're being so good, Ty murmured. What was that? Nothing. Just wondering who you're having dinner with. No one. I wasn't planning to go. Really? The razor stopped. I opened my eyes to find him gazing up through damp lashes that I couldn't resist ruffling his tousled hair. Really, memories surfaced of campus whispers painting me as the violent delinquent from high school rumors, always bruised from fights, unquestioned king of the streets. I'd once asked Ty, aren't you curious about what happened with Jack? His answer never wavered. I know who you are. Eric. You'll tell me when you're ready. That's when I knew. The pounding in my chest was deafening. Everything around me fading into unreality. Only Ty standing before me felt tangible. One thought consumed me, I'd move heaven and earth to make him mine. I declined Emily's invitation. When I punched Jack, it wasn't for gratitude but pure satisfaction. Public opinions never concerned me. Those who matter don't care about others' judgments. The dean still transferred me to North Campus Premium International Student Dorms as commendation. Initially resistant, South Campus was closer to Ty's dorm. My objections vanished when he announced his own transfer due to competition wins and academic excellence. We settled into our soundproof, well-equipped shared living space. Our neighbor happened to be Alex from the university basketball team. We'd played pickup games during roster shortages, making him one of few acquaintances here. Last week, I'd spotted him returning disheveled with swollen lips, assuming some girl had rocked his world. Turned out he'd bagged Luke, the most unattainable catch on campus. Ty's subtle reactions betrayed his interest. We needed kindling to boil this simmering attraction. Though Alex acted like a goofy Labrador, his passionate relationship skills showed promise. Time for some reconnaissance. During Ty's back-to-back classes and Luke's absence, I knocked on Alex's door. He answered after prolonged shuffling, movements stiff as rusted machinery. "What?" he rasped, massaging his lower back. "Did you swallow a bomb or something? Why so grumpy?" He winced, settling onto a chair. "Sports injury? Didn't your boyfriend give you a massage?" My teasing earned me thunderous scowls. Cutting to the chase, I asked, "How'd you win Luke over? Teach me." Alex's gaze turned calculating. "Chasing Ty. Obvious much?" His chuckle carried ominous undertones. "Fine. I'll text you the playbook. Guaranteed success." Something felt off about his relationship glow, more like predator's grin than lover's bliss. Shrugging off unease, I pocketed his advice. Days trickled by, anticipation simmering. The cuts on my arm had mostly healed. Alex once dropped this golden nugget of wisdom: liquid courage reveals true colors. Taking that to heart, I texted him teasingly, "So you're telling me you only had the balls to make a move on Luke after getting wasted?" Alex replied, "Huh? Guilty as charged." Thankfully the dude's ride or die loyal. He flooded my phone with outfit inspo, swearing it'll help moonlock game-changing charm. Apparently his significant other eats this stuff up. Scrolling through Alex's gallery, I grimaced at the fishnets, garter belts, and other questionable accessories. Me, you sure you're not sneaking in your own kinks? These look like things you'd beg your partner to wear. Alex, smirk emoji. Someone's defensive. Our banter got interrupted when a backpack thudded onto the adjacent desk. I fumbled to lock my screen. My flustered movements screamed guilty conscience. God knows if he glimpsed those risk images. Though we're in different majors, Ty and I share this elective. His absurdly long lashes cast crescent shadows as he deadpanned, "Eric been making new friends? You've been glued to your phone lately." I forced a laugh. "Just spam ads? You know how it is, right?" There's no way I'd admit I'm plotting how to devour him whole. I turned away from Ty's crystalline gaze. Those eyes felt like X-ray vision exposing every buried desire. Thud. He slammed his textbook down hard. "Crap," Ty muttered, though his stormy expression said otherwise. He'd recently aced some intercollegiate debate tournament. All that arguing must strain his vocals. Maybe I'll get him throat lozenges later. That lunatic Alex kept spamming borderline NSFW outfit ideas. "Alex, rock that sheer mesh top. Guaranteed home run." Me, "Screw you and your shitty advice." Pretty sure he's salty about me roasting his accidental woodland hookup with Ethan's story. After endless scrolling, I finally found a semi-decent ensemble. The package arrived in 2 days. Game time. Feigning drunkenness after class drinks, I texted Ty to drag me back to dorms. Truthfully, I barely sipped. Alcohol just turns me into a walking tomato. I melted against Ty's lean frame, fingers sneaking under his shirt to trace defined abs. His breath hitched against my ear. By the time we reached his room, we were both sweating through our clothes. I pretended to be drunk, looping my arm around Ty's neck while mumbling, "I want grilled sausages from the supermarket downstairs." He tried reasoning. "It's late, Eric. You're intoxicated." I persisted stubbornly. "No, I need them. Go buy some for me." The moment he stepped out, I swiftly pulled clothes from the closet. The fitted gray tee stretched taut, leather arm garters biting into bare biceps. Black suit pants hung low with a studded belt, single suspender chain crossing my chest. Staring at the mirror's reflection, I shifted uncomfortably. Never wore anything this restrictive before. Would Ty even like this? He'd been moody lately, always snapping about phone screens ruining my eyesight. Reaching for water to calm my nerves, I spilled half the glass down my neck. The soaked fabric clung transparently to my chest. The door burst open. They were out. "Eric, got you orange G." The bottle slipped from Ty's grip, thudding against hardwood. Maybe the alcohol finally hit him, his pupils dilated black under flickering lights, gaze burning like starved Tibetan mastiffs from childhood memories. The door slammed. His Adam's apple bobbed violently as he rasped. "What are you doing?" Ignoring the wet stain. I crooked a finger. "Mere." He approached like a condemned man climbing the gallows. When within reach, I yanked his collar, flipping us onto the mattress. My elbow pressed against his throat. "How's that? Never seen this move before. Have you?" Ty's choked vibrated against my forearm, eyes bleeding crimson. "Wanna learn?" I breathed against his ear. "Kiss me, and I'll teach every trick I've got." Relaxing pressure. I let him speak. His lips trembled. "Are you still drunk?" Fingering his disheveled hair. I smirked. "What do you think?" Pink flush exploded across his face. "If I learn, can I get rewards?" Before answering, steel-muscled arms flipped our positions. My wrists got pinned above my head, cheek grinding into sheets as his handcuff grip immobilized me. Unlike the chokehold I'd used earlier, this was a textbook grappling maneuver. The tables had turned. My mind went blank as two scorching hot palms delivered light, deliberate smacks along the curve of my ass. Tyler's voice came out throaty. "Damn. That's perfection. Want to test the theory?" His breath scorched my neck. "Eric, you've got no idea how long I've..." His fingers found my earlobe, kneading with terrifying devotion. "God, the way you've been teasing me," but this time, the tremor in his grip betrayed him. "Whether that was drunk talk or not tonight, you're mine now, Eric." He flipped me onto my back, crashing our mouths together with feral hunger. No preamble. No mercy. When I finally collapsed against sweat-drenched sheets, Ty slid off the mattress. Morning light caught his silhouette as he retrieved the abandoned orange juice bottle by the door. "Let's sober you up properly," he murmured, tilting my chin to share the citrus-sweet sip. Sunbeams stabbed my eyelids hours later. Every muscle screamed in protest. I'd barely staggered upright when arms locked around my waist. "Easy there." Ty emerged from the bathroom, all feigned innocence as he guided me back to bed. "Come here." I bit out through gritted teeth. He obeyed instantly, kneeling on the mattress with that infuriatingly angelic face tilted toward mine. The slap landed with pathetic weakness, my palm barely grazing his cheek. Ty caught my trembling wrist, pressing kisses to the angry marks his teeth had left there last night. "Did I hurt you?" He murmured against my skin. "Let me make it better." My laugh came out jagged. The helpless act, the I can't fight routine? "What else have you been hiding, Ty?" He nuzzled into my still-raised hand, gazing up through absurdly long lashes. "Just one lie." His thumb traced the pulse rabbiting in my throat, that I fell second. "Truth is, Eric," the confession emerged raw, "that I've been yours since that underground boxing match that I stiffened. Mom's dialysis bills, the blood-stained arena. You were wiping the floor with that guy from Queens. Ty's smile turned wistful, sweat dripping off your jaw. Crowd screaming for you to break his arm." His palm settled over my racing heart, took every ounce of self-control not to drag you out of there and claim you in some filthy alleyway. I turned my face away. "Bullshit. You were there for Ethan, for my idiot brother?" His laugh held zero humor. "Only realized he'd been betting against you when I saw his name on the ledger." Calloused fingers tilted my chin back, made him return every dime. By the way, with interest, the admission hung between us, all those months of him accidentally bring extra lunches to the gym, studying together in his car after my late shifts, his jacket perpetually draped over my shoulders. I swallowed hard. If you'd said something sooner, would you have believed me? His lips ghosted over my temple. "Rich kid falling for some bruised-up brawler? Had to make you need me first." The truth detonated like a flashbang. The tutoring sessions, the borrowed textbooks, even that bullshit motorcycle breakdown outside my night school. "You manipulative little..." Ty caught my wrists, pinning them above my head with terrifying ease. "Guilty." His teeth grazed my pounding pulse. "But you're the one who taught me how to fight dirty, Eric." Dawn bled through the curtains as he proceeded to demonstrate exactly how well he'd been paying attention. "Later, I spent ages digging around before finally discovering your college application choices. Getting into the same university as you gave me the perfect excuse to learn self-defense and get closer. Felt like a dream. The more time we spent together, the more I fell for you. When you sat on that pool table, I used every ounce of self-control not to pin you down right there. And that time you slipped in the bathroom." "Stop. Enough." The conversation was veering into dangerous territory. I clamped my hand over his mouth, heat rising to my cheeks. A damp warmth brushed my palm. He'd licked me again. I jerked my hand back like I'd been burned. Tyler Smith tilted his head, that infuriating smirk playing on his lips. All right. I'll behave, Eric. I mentally curse it. All sweet obedience on the surface. But I knew exactly what dirty thoughts swirled beneath. Yet this was the monster I'd created. Truth was, I could have pushed Tyler away last night. The initial shock and alcohol-induced haze had paralyzed me. But sobriety returned quickly enough. I realized he still fought like the student I'd trained, every move bearing my fingerprints. Except that first restraining hold he'd never learned from me. But watching him worship at the altar of my body with such devotion, I'd softened. Let him have his way. What really burned wasn't the reversal of positions, but the shameful pleasure coiling in my gut, how easily he'd reduced me to trembling tears. My fists clenched. Just you wait, I growled, seizing his throat and biting down hard enough to bruise. I'll pay this back tenfold. You'll be the one begging someday. We officially became a couple after that, though Tyler remained unchanged, just clingier than ever. Like some overgrown golden retriever constantly nosing for attention. He developed a knack for sniffing out imaginary rivals too, recently grilling me about who I'd been texting. Only after my exasperated explanations would he brighten up, all dimples and stolen kisses. I wasn't an idiot. The pieces clicked about Alex Brown's meddling. We traded insults over WeChat like old times. Troublemaker Alex, told you my advice would work. Your misinterpretation isn't my problem. Me, scheming little weasel. Troublemaker Alex, can't let anyone stay dry when I'm drowning, right? Congrats on bagging your 6'2" hunk of a little sister. Me, petty bastard. Just wait, I'm not like you. I'll flip this script soon. Troublemaker Alex, different trades? Different skills. Godspeed with that. Before I could launch my counterattack, Tyler vanished. Disappeared like smoke, phone dead. Dorm empty. The academic advisor said his family requested a month's leave. No explanation. Then came the knock at my door. A young man stood there, sharing Tyler's striking eyes but little else. Buzz cut, sun-bronzed skin stretching over coiled muscle. Ethan Smith extended a calloused hand, his cop's badge glinting at his belt. We need to talk about my brother. His eyes and brows exuded a rebellious edge beneath the police academy uniform. Ethan crossed his arms, sizing me up. You must be Eric? I froze. You know me? Ethan's face suddenly lit up with admiration. Of course. I snuck into that underground boxing match last month. Your knockout round was insane. He dragged out the next words with a sly grin. Plus, my brother's phone wallpaper? All your photos. Gotta say, bro, you've got serious skills rapping, mister. Perfect around your finger. Never thought I'd see the day Ty comes out to our parents over Sunday brunch. I ignored the teasing nickname. Urgency tightening my throat. Where is he now? Is he okay? Chill. Ty just wanted me to tell you he's handling it. Ethan checked his watch. Already backing toward the dormitory. Catch you later, detention's waiting. The unease lingered like storm clouds. At dawn, I boarded the train to Ty's apartment. The address he'd whispered during our last midnight call. Sleep had been impossible. Every creak of the old building made me jump. The door handle turned with familiar resistance. There he stood, stubble shadowing his jawline. Police academy jacket hanging looser than I remembered. The door slammed shut before either spoke. My back hit the wood paneling as his lips crashed into mine. All teeth and desperation and 3 weeks' worth of stolen breaths. Missed you? Ty murmured against my collarbone. Rain-damp hair brushing my neck. My fingers tangled in those dark strands. Remembering Ethan's warnings. Your parents, they didn't take it well? He lifted bloodshot eyes, the kind of exhaustion that comes from endless circular arguments. Would you leave if they never approve? The unspoken weight hung between us. Coming out stories never mention how parental disappointment carves deeper than any blade, leaving wounds that fester for decades. I kissed him hard, swallowing the bitter taste of coffee and sleepless nights. My mom's last words? Live for yourself, Eric. My thumb wiped away the moisture gathering at his lash line. She regretted letting society dictate her life. I won't make that mistake. The tenderness shifted, lips parting, hands gripping, rain-streaked windows fogging with our breath. Ty's confession spilled out between kisses, years of repressed frustration dissolving like sugar in hot tea. The golden child. The responsible son. Every life choice pre-approved, finance major instead of criminology, polished manners over boxing gloves. Meanwhile, Ethan got to chase police sirens and broken noses, Their parents' disapproval reserved for the younger rebel. Learned these holds from watching Ethan's training videos. Ty admitted, pinning my wrists with practiced ease. His teeth grazed my earlobe. Guess we both inherited the family stubbornness. Outside, storm clouds mirrored our tangled limbs, gray skies washing clean every hidden truth, every stolen moment. The world could wait. For now, we wrote our own rules. Scalding tears dripped onto my face. My resolve crumbled completely as I loosened my grip. Stop crying, I murmured hoarsely. You'll always be the spoiled little brother who gets away with anything around me. Ty blinked rapidly, his eyelashes still glistening. What? Do whatever you want. I'll indulge you. Give in to you. Happy now. Mercy always backfires. Showing compassion to men? Downright lethal. My face burned crimson as the shameless creature kept coiling around me, murmuring honeyed words between those sinful lips. Eric? Eric? His scorching body pressed closer, breath fanning my ear as he uttered words that made my entire being tremble. I might suck at pool, big brother, but my golf skills are championship material. Hole in one. I choked. Shut your damn. Later. I swore to myself while scrubbing raw skin in the shower. I'm blocking Alex everywhere. That smug bastard with his 9-iron innuendos could rot in hell.